Country, Burkina Faso, right in the heart of West Africa. And in charge is a young military leader, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. He came into power with a promise to fix things, especially the massive security problems plaguing the nation. It's kind of like a new CEO taking over a company that's facing some headwinds. He's got big plans, a can-do attitude, and, well, a whole lot of military uniforms in his closet. But running a country isn't just about fighting bad guys. It's also about the economy. And that's where things get really, really complicated. It's a story of hope, struggle, and a whole lot of shiny metal. The main headline you'll hear is that Burkina Faso's economy is actually growing. On paper, things are looking up. The GDP, that big fancy number economists love to throw around, is inching forward. But it's like saying you're getting taller because you're wearing platform shoes. The growth is real, but what's propping it up? The answer is simple. Gold. Lots and lots of gold. The country is digging up this precious metal like there's no tomorrow, and it's become the main engine of the economy. Captain Traoré's government is leaning heavily on this resource, hoping it can fund everything from the military to national development. But here's the twist in the plot. While the government is counting its gold bars, the average person on the street in Ouagadougou or Bobo Dioulasso isn't exactly feeling like a millionaire. Let's talk about the bling. Gold is not just a shiny accessory in Burkina Faso. It's the lifeblood of the entire economy. It's the country's #1 export, its biggest earner of foreign cash, and the government's golden goose. When you look at the modest GDP growth figures, you have to understand that gold is doing all the heavy lifting. It's like that one person in a group project who does all the work while everyone else is just there for moral support. Without these soaring gold exports, the economic picture would look a whole lot bleaker. The global demand for gold has been a saving grace, providing a steady stream of revenue when other sectors are struggling. Recognizing how crucial this resource is, Captain Traoré's government has made some bold moves. They're not just letting foreign companies come in and take all the profits anymore. Oh no. They've decided they want a bigger piece of the pie. The state is taking more control over the mining sector. Small-scale mines, artisanal mines, they've even built the country's first state-owned gold refinery. The idea is to keep more of the wealth within Burkina Faso's borders. It's a power move, basically saying, this is our gold, and we're going to make sure it benefits our people first. It sounds great in theory, right? This strategy is a double-edged sword, though. On one hand, more state control could mean more money for public services, national development. It's a way to reclaim sovereignty over natural resources, a theme that's becoming popular across the region. The government can direct this income towards its priorities, which, as we'll see, are heavily focused on security. So, the GDP is growing thanks to gold, but it's like a car moving forward with 3 flat tires and an engine on fire. The growth is incredibly fragile. One of the biggest problems is inflation. Prices for everyday goods are climbing fast, a silent tax that hits the poor the hardest. This undermines any gains from the GDP growth. Because if a loaf of bread costs twice as much, are you really better off? This fragility is made worse by the security situation. The ongoing conflict with extremist groups displaces people from their homes and farms, crushing the agricultural sector where most people work. It also makes transporting goods risky, so supply chains break down, creating shortages and pushing prices even higher. This insecurity acts like a brake on the entire economy, slowing everything down. Then there's the international fallout. After the military takeover, Burkina Faso was hit with sanctions and suspended from regional blocs like ECOWAS. And while some sanctions have eased, political instability has damaged investor confidence. Foreign companies are hesitant to invest in a country where the government could change overnight. This lack of foreign investment means fewer new jobs and less new technology. Let's bring this down to the ground level. Forget GDP percentages and export figures for a second. What does this mean for the average family in Burkina Faso? Their wallet is feeling a serious pinch. The biggest villain is inflation. We're talking essentials, food, fuel, cooking oil. When the cost of a bag of rice millet skyrockets, it's not an abstract number. It's a daily struggle to put food on the table. For millions on tight budgets, it's devastating. Rising costs are eroding public trust. People heard promises of change and stability, but faced declining purchasing power. Hard to feel patriotic when you can't afford to feed your kids. That creates a gap between the government's progress story and people's reality. When the system feels like it's failing, you get frustration, anger, social unrest. The government asks for patience and sacrifice, but patience runs thin when hunger knocks. Benefits of the gold boom aren't trickling down. Mining wealth is concentrated at the top. It goes to the state mining companies, a small elite. The high price of security. When your house is on fire, your first priority is to put out the fire. For Burkina Faso, the fire is the violent insurgency that controls large parts of the country. So, it's no surprise that Captain Traoré's government has made security its number 1, number 2, and number 3 priority. This has meant a massive increase in military spending. We're talking more soldiers, more weapons, more equipment. The national budget has been reshaped to fund the war effort. This is the guns part of the classic guns versus butter economic dilemma, and right now, the guns are getting the lion's share of the feast. This intense focus on security spending comes at a cost. A very high cost. Every franc spent on a bullet is a franc that can't be spent on a textbook. Every franc spent on a bullet is a franc that can't be spent on a textbook. Every dollar used to buy a military vehicle is a dollar that can't be used to build a health clinic. Every dollar used to buy a military vehicle is a dollar that can't be used to build a health clinic. Social spending on crucial areas like education and healthcare is being squeezed. Schools in conflict zones have been closed for years, and now even in safer areas the resources are stretched thin. Hospitals and local clinics, already underfunded, are struggling to cope. This creates a long-term problem. You might win the war, but you could lose a generation of educated and healthy citizens. So, where does this leave Burkina Faso as we head towards the end of 2025? The country is standing at a major crossroads, facing a mix of daunting challenges and real opportunities. On one hand, you have significant strengths. The biggest, of course, is gold. It provides a financial lifeline that many other countries in crisis can only dream of. Another huge asset is its people. Burkina Faso has one of the youngest populations in the world. That's a massive source of energy, innovation, and labor. If, and it's a big if, they can be given education, jobs, and a reason to hope for a better future. But the weaknesses are just as stark and, frankly, more immediate. The overwhelming reliance on gold makes the economy vulnerable to swings in global commodity prices. If the price of gold were to crash, the government's budget would go with it. Then there's the crippling insecurity that disrupts everything from farming to commerce. Add in high inflation that eats away at people's savings and a political situation that makes investors shy away, and you have a recipe for chronic instability. These weaknesses are not just numbers on a spreadsheet, they are powerful forces holding the country back and making daily life a struggle for millions. Looking ahead, there are potential pathways to a brighter future. The government is actively seeking new trade and political alliances, which could open up new markets and sources of investment beyond the traditional Western partners. So, the big question hanging over Burkina Faso right now, in late 2025, is a massive one. Can this military-led government, focused so heavily on security, actually manage the economy in a way that helps everyone? It's a high-stakes balancing act. They're trying to fight a war, keep the economy afloat, and somehow make life better for over 20 million people. It's like trying to juggle chainsaws while riding a unicycle on a tightrope. What could possibly go wrong? This isn't just an economic report. It's a drama, a thriller, and a reality show all rolled into one. And everyone is waiting to see how this episode ends. The country has been looking for new partners, like Russia. But rebuilding broad international trust takes a long, long time. All of this puts Captain Traoré's government in an incredibly tough spot. They are trying to steer the economy through a perfect storm of internal and external pressures. They have to manage rising inflation, crippling insecurity, wary international partners, all while trying to project an image of strength and control. The modest growth is a small victory, but it's threatened from all sides. It's a high-wire act with no safety net. One wrong step, a spike in violence, a dip in gold prices, or another political shock, and the whole thing could come tumbling down. The real test is not just about growing the GDP or increasing gold exports. It means taming inflation, restoring security so people can return to their homes and farms, and investing in the health and education of its youth. Can they manage the gold, win the peace, and build an economy that works for everyone? It's a monumental task, and the future of an entire nation hangs in the balance. No pressure, Cap.